Prowl 1701 here, and today I'm going to be talking about parts 4 and 5 of The Ambassadors of Death, which was sent to me recently by one of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, which I very much appreciate. Thank you, Colin. Colin's been a huge supporter of the channel for a while now. Part 4 was pretty good. It's interesting how the story hasn't really been dragging like it normally does. I haven't felt like anything's really filler. Now, not as much happened in this episode as the previous one, but a few things happened. We do see Liz escape just to get recaptured. So she has a little gets captured, escapes, gets captured again. We find out that the bigger scientist with the beard and the not-so-great accent actually is a bad guy. He gets his well-deserved comeuppance. I'm still surprised the doctor didn't get killed in that explosion. He wasn't that far away with a bomb that probably was supposed to take out both of them. He just got a little bandage right here. It's so weird, you know. It's still, tis but a scratch. Tis a scratch. They put a little bandage. I kind of figured he'd get hurt more there. The cliffhanger, while looking cool, doesn't quite work for me. I can't believe the doctor didn't just realize someone was behind the door, especially that sound they make, whether it's radiation background noise or the alien in there breathing. There is a sound going on that you'd figure the doctor would hear. So while it looks cool to have the doctor, you know, with the alien behind him reaching out as a cliffhanger, it doesn't make sense when you think about it. It looks cool, but it doesn't make sense. It's a Rise of Skywalker thing going on here. It might look cool at a couple points, but when you think about it, you're like, that doesn't make sense. He should have noticed. We also noticed that the bad guys who early on were very big on trying not to hurt anyone are now tying up loose ends. Different faction of the bad guys, kind of. A different faction of the same faction, if that makes sense. Like a rogue faction of the bad faction. Because they've already killed a couple people. The two workers who were helping at one point. The scientist with the beard, and now Sir James himself. The location work still looks the roughest. The studio work still looks rough, like I talked about in the previous video. But the location work really suffers from the recolorization, and it still has the juddering issues. I've noticed that the location work really suffers more for that. I enjoyed this one well enough. Like I said, it's keeping me engaged enough to want to move on to the next one, which is kind of surprising. I really thought I would have to space these episodes out, which I did part 1, but I've watched 2, 3, and 4 kind of back to back, basically with just reviews between them. And I really wouldn't mind getting on to part 5, actually, and I'm really surprised considering this story typically drags for me, that I'm staying this engaged with. It's surprising and impressing me. It's interesting because it's still the mystery of what's going on. What are the aliens' intentions? Are the astronauts up there? There's still these mysteries going on that we haven't gotten answered yet at this point, which I like. I'm actually enjoying. It seems like a little more, I don't really know the word I'm looking for here. I mean, it's not just all action with stuff happening, but it's not quite cerebral either. It's kind of a nice mix of the two. There's a couple spots for updated effects, if they ever chose to do updated effects. Some of the model work for the spaceships at the beginning of the story. And this is the first time we see the aliens kill somebody. And of course, when they touch somebody, there's that little flash on the screen. You could do some updated stuff for that. This one thus far hasn't had as many options for updated effects as I thought I remembered. And considering how much restoration work needs to be done, there probably won't be any money for updated effects this season. Although I'm starting to think there might not be an episode this season that just drastically needs it or anything. But there are a few opportunities I've seen here. We'll keep an eye on that as we go. So that's pretty much everything on part 4. I'll be back to review part 5. And part 5. So the doctor's gone up to the space station. You know, it's interesting because the part where when the rocket first lifts off would have made a great cliffhanger. For some reason, I thought that was going to be the cliffhanger. With the Brigadier not being able to stop the liftoff in time, the rocket taking off, that would have made a good cliffhanger. But it wasn't that. It was interesting. It's interesting to see that the other scientist, the male scientist that's trying to help Liz that went to the Brigadier, he's in a bit of a spot. I can't remember if he dies or not. Who, of course, obviously someone in unit is still, besides the general, is still working for the other side. So left a radiation isotope rod in the room with him, and he's, of course, trying to hit the emergency button that's been cut. So we'll see what happened to him. I can't remember if he dies or not right off. I want to say yes, but I don't remember. The location work up on the kind of oil rig-like area where the fuel was injected, that was pretty cool. I like the filming there. That looked pretty neat. There's definitely some chances for some updated effects there in Part 5. The rocket lifting off looks a bit naffed. The docking section when the ship docks with the pod docks with the main capsule docks, I guess, with the main station. And then, of course, the cliffhanger with the alien ship coming and the Doctor seeing it out the window. There's definitely some updated effects that could be done there, I'll be honest. Not a bad cliffhanger for Part 5 with them seeing the alien ship. It's all right. It's fine. Liz, of course, not getting a lot of screen time here. She did kind of convince the other Doctor, hey, you need to help. You're responsible for this. People are dying now. I do love the line when Rieger or whatever tells his henchman to watch her. It's like, you know, don't make me do anything to you. And she looks at him and he's like, it's all right. I won't hurt you. I love the way Carolyn John does that line. Makes you wonder if that was an ad lib or if that was in the script. I just love the way she says it. It's all right. I won't hurt you. That's funny. That's funny. Again, I'm impressed with Pertwee's performance in this, Nicholas Courtney's performance in this. They're definitely putting in, you know, their A games like they usually do. But I'm really enjoying the Brigadier being more serious. Every now and then he gets a little hammy or campy in stories. I like how serious he is in this one. He has kind of helped save the day a couple times already. So the story is progressing. It's progressing. I'm not getting bored with it. If it wasn't so late, I'd be tempted to go on to Part 6. This just happens to be the night time jumps forward, and I just remembered that when I saw time jump forward. I'm like, it's only one something. And the next thing I know, it's 3 o'clock. And I'm like, right. So the time jump has gotten me. So I think it'll probably be the last one. But the fact that it's making me want to move on to the next one, especially for a story I've seen before, even if it's hazy in my memory, is pretty impressive. I think it's because I haven't seen it in so long, and it's just vague in my mind that's keeping me interested. It's not something I would want to go back and rewatch, you know, every year. Excuse me. But the fact that I haven't felt it dragging is good and surprising, but I am enjoying that. So, yeah, keeping me engaged. Although it's interesting that the bad guys have kind of gone from trying not to hurt anyone to tying up loose ends. That's really, I think, just the one guy. Like, because several of the bad guys, the ones that were kind of running things at the beginning, were very much from their point of view, they're the good guys. You just have this one guy they're relying on who very much knows he's not a good person. He's a very much out for himself person. That's the only person he cares about is him. So he has no morals, no compassion. So now it's kind of, he's taking out everybody else. So I want to know what you think of episodes 4 and 5 of The Ambassadors of Death. Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. And links to the Patreon are down in the description if you would like to support me on that. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. And I appreciate Colin sending the DVD so I could watch it. I had been wanting to rewatch Ambassadors again. YouTube memberships are available. Links to the Amazon wish list are down there, as is my P.O. box as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.